What's up, Trash Talkers? Here at Veteran Trash Talk, we actually vet our sponsors. We don't just take their money and run like a butter bar lieutenant lost on a land nav course. Are you finally ready to plant your flag and claim your territory? Maybe it's time to use that VA loan to buy a home. Or hell, maybe you're looking to refinance and put some extra cash in your pocket for more questionable life decisions. Either way, the Veterans Mortgage Source, powered by Canopy Mortgage, has your six. Look, buying a home or refinancing can feel like getting overrun on a bad op. Chaotic, confusing, and full of obstacles that make no damn sense. That's where Corey and his team come in. They're like the QRF of home loans, ready to pull you out of the chaos and guide you to the best program for you. And trust me, they'll answer all your questions. Yeah, even the dumb ones. Whether you're a salty vet or fresh out of barracks still trying to figure out where your TA-50 went. Great service, solid rates, and a team that actually understands the military life. That's why all of us here at Veteran Trash Talk trust them to do right by every veteran and their family. Ready to lock it in? Give Corey a call or shoot him a text at 808-699-7874. That's 808-699-7874. Don't wait. Unless you like overpaying and getting treated like an FNG. The Veterans Mortgage Source is powered by Canopy Mortgage, LLC. All loans are subject to credit and property approval.
Hey, what's up, Mental Health Nation? Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. As you can see, I'm still on the road. I was in Tampa, Florida, doing a speaking event last week, and now I'm in Virginia here doing some stuff. And Len's with us tonight. Len, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. Can't wait to talk about all of the things happening.
I've been posting some stuff. I don't know if you guys can see it on the chat or not, but I threw out the questions that we're going to ask, and we're going to do what would you do in this situation? It's once again flight attendants. A lot of them have been reaching out to me on social media because they got a kick out of last time we did it, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. So I got 3 scenarios that I posted out on Facebook and on X, so you can look at those. I'm not too sure if I'm live on TikTok today, but I'm supposed to be. So if you
I'm live on TikTok.
Okay. So Len's live on TikTok. So it says I am, but then it made me fill out some forms, so I don't know. But we'll get to that in a minute. But hey, before that, let's pay some bills and get into that. So I'm going to go around the horn here. So if you see Wreaths Across America up there in the top left corner, you can scan that QR code, and for as little as $15, $10, you can scan that to ensure that the veterans are memorialized during the holiday season. I'm really proud to be part of Wreaths Across America and part of their family with all they do, not only during the holiday season, but year round. They have so many great programs that they do. So, hey, if you got a little bit of extra money, you can scan that. But hey, maybe you have, a loved one or somebody else and you want to memorialize them, you can also do it in their name, and that is possible. So give that QR code a scan. Along with that, Wreaths Across America Radio, yes, Wreaths Across America Radio, they're expanding. They added a lot more radio stations out on the East Coast, but they replayed the podcast that Len and I do, The Mental Health Warrior, on Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. It's super easy to find. Just download the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or the Audacy app, and search for Wreaths Across America Radio for not only this great podcast, but all the other great podcasts they do and all the great music that they play on there. So, hey, give them a watch out. And every now and then I do go on their morning live show during special events. You heard me talk a lot about 10th Mountain Whiskey. Unfortunately and sadly, I won't be able to order it before I go back to Italy this time because, like an idiot, I brought a small suitcase with my stuff, knowing that I was going to be traveling to like 6 different hotels before I finally make it back home. But I will make sure that anybody comes and visit me, they can do that. But hey, listen, we'll post their website for 10th Mountain Whiskey. Give them a click, give them a look, give them a try, because I will tell you their bourbon is really, 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 really good. And if you had a stressful day like I've had today, it's okay to kick back, throw some ice in a glass, and just enjoy a little bit and just relax for a second. As you heard on the video before with Veterans Mortgage, powered by Canopy Mortgage, interest rates are coming down. Give that a scan. Time to refinance your house. Maybe you're looking at using your VA mortgage for the one time, or maybe you just have questions about your mortgage. Give them a holler, and they'd be more than happy to help you out with that. Super easy to do, to scan that QR code. I talk about it a lot because a lot of people out in Italy were supposed to go to Germany and other places, and they got shipped to Hawaii. And their orders changed last minute, and they were kind of like, what am I going to do? I'm like, hey, I got the perfect solution for you. PCS to Paradise. They scanned that QR code and gave it to them. They were really able to help them out, and they helped out a couple of friends of mine to find their house there as they were PCSing to Hawaii. And so, hey, if you're PCSing to Hawaii and you got some questions, you're trying to find a house, or maybe you're already in Hawaii and you need to find a place to go to. You're coming out of, TLA, temporary lodging. Do they call it temporary lodging in the Navy?
I don't even remember.
I don't know. Anyway, in the Army, they call it TLA, temporary lodging. So, hey, you get like 2 weeks to find a place, but scan that QR code and they'll be more than happy to help you with that. But with that, I'm going to ask Lynn. I know, Lynn, you had a very busy weekend. While you're I don't know, did you see the questions that I posted? Did they pop up? I don't see them in the
I saw the questions.
Okay, so they're out there online for people to see?
Yeah. Oh, you want me to put it online?
Well, I tried to post it, but it didn't pop up in our chat. Maybe it's too long. I can break them up if they're too long.
Yeah, it's too long. That's what it is.
Okay. So while you're updating on everything you did, because you had a super fun weekend, I saw all your posts on social media. It was so much fun. Of course, I had fun too. I was with my child, my green Mustang, the Goblin, and Tom and I was out. I'm not going to say we were racing on the streets in Yorktown. We were going almost the speed limit. Yeah. To the right or left of the speed limit, however you look at it. It's fun.
Almost the speed limit, just 20 miles over the speed limit.
Yeah. So fill us in what you have been doing, Lynn, and I just want to say thoughts and prayers out to you with the government shutdown. I know that, that does affect you, and hopefully they'll pull their head out of the full point of contact and get this taken care of. But Lynn, how was your weekend?
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. I went to IW Memphis, so E-River Warriors Memphis, and shout out to Nick Sawal, shout out to Brad Bell, shout out to everybody on their team, on their hike team. They did a wonderful job. The hike support team, everything. Like, to me as a hiker, outside looking in or inside looking out, whatever, it felt like the hike went out without a hitch. So if you've never been to Memphis, they have one of the largest pyramids in the world, and it's a man-made built pyramid. It's the Bass Pro Shop. So if you go on my page, you'll be able to see that Bass Pro Shop. It's really cool. There was over 200 of us that came and traveled from all over United States to be there. They started off under a bridge. That was a Saturday, but the Fridays are always fun at any hike you go to. So you're not just thrown into a hike with people you don't know. Like, if you're a first timer or if you're coming from out of town, you get a chance to catch up with people on that Friday before the hike day Saturday. It's called the meet and greet. So at every city, at our meet and greets, we have different themes. So Nick Sawal and Brad Bell and their team, they decided to go with Redneck Riviera. And the trailer trash.
That's when you had the beer cans in your hair?
The trailer trash park. So if you guys out there don't know where the Redneck Riviera is, that is the Emerald Coast, the Gulf Coast of Florida, the little panhandle from like the Alabama, Florida line all the way to like Tallahassee, pretty much like that area. That's the Redneck Riviera, okay? And I'm only a few hours from there. And then so when they're talking about, oh, you want to come dress as a redneck, I'm like, this is how we dress in Florida every day. So I'm like, what am I supposed to dress as? So if you see for the neck on down, I got a shirt and it said "Welcome to the Shit Show," and I turned it into like a halter top. I cut it into a halter top and then cut the fringe on the bottom, and then I had like Daisy Duke rip shorts and then like knee-high cowboy boots. So that's like a normal everyday wear here in the South. The only thing difference that I did was I rolled up my hair in beer cans.
Oh, there you are.
There it is.
And I love the boots. Love the boots.
Yeah, my shout out to my sister. She let me borrow the boots. So I rolled my hair up in cans. So I had the double wide trailer money. So I got White Claws because those are not cheap. So I was gonna go with PBR. I'm like, if I have leftover PBR, do I want to drink PBR? No, I'll drink the White Claw. I wanted to get High Noons, but they didn't have it. Anyway, good times. And then for the hike, definitely Silkies. And then I actually wore like a whole American flag outfit costume. And then when it got hot, I brought an outfit to change because it's not my first rodeo. So, it's not my first rodeo. So I actually brought Silkies, which is those little shorty shorts, and then a tank top to wear when it got hot. But it was so much fun connecting with other veterans. So if you've never been to a hike and you're listening, if you are a veteran, this is only for us DD 214 holders. So that's retired, active duty, veterans, Coast Guard, National Guard, those of us who do serve. If you're a civilian, sorry, you can't join us. You can't sit with us, but you can help and volunteer. Yeah. So the reason for that, and I have a lot of civilians ask me what's the reason for that. Well, the reason is because if we allow like civilians or even children or whatever, a lot of times they don't get how we talk to each other, our sarcasm, our dry humor, our dark humor. And we have a lot of dark humor too. We joke around about the most inappropriate things, and that's what
absolutely you have to.
Yeah.
What happened to Lynn?
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, she's back.
I'm on my daughter's Mac. So
did it go to sleep on you? Oh, it went to sleep on you again.
Lynn, did your camera go on furlough?
I don't know how to turn off her stuff. Hold on. But yeah, if you've never been on a hike, you should come out. And so I tell the civilians, like, the only reason why we have it, it's because it's our space. We don't have any other space where we can connect and be ourselves. So and then they're always welcome to come volunteer, come hang out and give waters. They drive the fallout vehicles, so we had not only golf carts but trucks and jeeps that you can jump on the back and fall out in. And so I did, of course, because I'm actually disabled. So my knees, and I got arthritis and plantar fasciitis and all that. During one of the stops, they played tug of war, and so they did like Navy against Air Force against Marines, things like that. So they're like, "Oh, Len, do you want to do tug of war?" I'm like, "Heck no." They're like, "Why not?" I said, "Because I'm actually disabled. Why do I want to mess my body up even more? No, I don't want to do that." So I mean, I can go on and on about IW hikes. I loved it. It was a good time.
I loved it when I did the hike with them in Italy. When they were Trust Italy last year, it was great fun, and it's interesting because of course I didn't know that. Of course, you told them I was coming, and thank you for that. But we had a lot of great laughs, and literally for 10 miles we were ribbing each other the whole time about silly stuff and talking and carrying on and doing mentorship. Because there were some that were still active duty, some young warrant officers and stuff. So there's some mentorship going on. But it is just a good, safe place to really rib each other.
Yeah, it's so much fun. So I came back to that now at last night at 11:59 I got furloughed. So some people ask me, what's that even mean? Like for other people who don't work in the federal government, I'm like, really? Like you probably, if you needed something from Social Security, it might be delayed. Department of Health and Human Services, you might get delayed care. Maybe
about 70% of the government still operates when it first starts on the shutdown.
Museums and national parks are closed.
The national parks closed and things like that. But people receive security pay, the military.
All the essential stuff still runs.
All that pay still continues. So
airport's still open.
Yeah. So it's the non-essential stuff that shuts. And so you think if 30% of the government's non-essential, do we really need it?
Yeah. So the government's closed, but then it's not closed.
Yeah, it's not. No, but they use it. The sad thing is they use it to scare people. And I was posting this on X today. I said, hey, some congressman or whatever was out there saying, I said, listen, this isn't true.
Yeah.
That this is not going on. You need to stop scaring people. and, do some work for once and get in there and do what your people that elect you to go and do, because it's just ridiculous to scare people about stuff. And I think, too, a lot of people are more educated on what a shutdown means and what goes on, because I think they took the time to learn that. And so it is important to go out there and you can research it, and you can find out exactly what parts of the government shut down, what parts don't, what parts remain open. And then you can, it's always good to educate yourself, no matter what you're doing, whether it's with your health care, whether it's government shutdown, whatever it is. Do not take somebody's word for it. Spend the time and do the research. Len, just like you did with this thing going on with the buyouts, last year. Yeah. You did the research. You posted a line to educate people, and you were like, "Hey, look, read this, and if it fits you, or if it goes, then research it more."
Yeah,
but
a lot of people took it the wrong way.
Somebody off on social media.
A lot of people took it the wrong way. Like, I was posting like political stuff. Like, no, I'm actually trying to help you. Like, this is your SF50. But so just like the government shutdown, a lot of people were asking active duty or National Guard or Coast Guard even, are they going to get paid during the shutdown? Well, the quick answer for now is no, because whatever bill it was for them didn't get passed in time. So last time they had protections, this time they don't for now, because I reconvene in October 7th, so we'll see what happens then. But for now, if you don't receive your paycheck in the next pay period or so, because the first came around, we all should have gotten paid. Because this is all the first,
Well,
all
the
that
military was in the big beautiful bill that they passed, so that's already been passed. So I
already got my disability payment and all that. So if the first came around, everyone should have got paid then. But what everyone's worried about is the next paycheck is our next pay period. So USAA and Navy Federal, they have this program. You got to sign up for it for a 0% interest loan for up to $6,000. So if you guys don't know that, make sure you sign up for that if you get your paychecks from the federal government and you're in active duty or one of those military components or whatnot, and that's what you're expecting. So even though the shutdown is happening and we're not going to get paid, there's still resources there, so make sure to research that. And of course, once the government opens back up, we'll get back pay. So I'm not worried about it. Everyone says, "Oh, it's free vacation," but it's school year. I got kids.
Actually, it's pretty stressful. It's pretty stressful, actually, for the people going through it. And so, thoughts and prayers. But yeah, that was great information. We posted a link out there for Navy Fed. Thanks, Chris, for doing that. But hey, real quick, and we didn't mention this, it's October now, so it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And so let's keep that in mind as October moves on. I'll be posting some things about that, some helpful tips with your mental health. And I thought, what a great way to kick off Mental Health Awareness Month with doing What Would You Do series again. And that was so much fun. We did it. And I will tell you that, I've been flying a lot. Lynn, you travel a lot. And, the airline industry is really, these flight attendants and these pilots are under so much stress, and the gate workers, that they have seen such an uptick in mental health issues. And it was really refreshing to listen to them laugh about our last episode. We did What Would You Do? And it was just something silly we just decided to do. And basically for anybody who didn't watch the episode, you can go back and watch it a couple episodes ago. But I came up with, a friend of mine had a conversation with me about some silly things that came up during flights, and she says, "Okay, Cliff, I'm going to interview you to see if you can be a flight attendant." And she said, "What would you do in this situation? And what would you do in that situation?" And it was kind of funny. And Lynn knew nothing about the questions. And so I popped them on her, and you were way more diplomatic than I was in your responses. So I thought I would do that again. And so for all the flight attendants out there that reached out to me and everybody, I want to say thank you. And I want to say this show is dedicated to you. And listen, if you're flying or you're traveling, don't get too upset. If your flight's delayed or something's going on with the plane maintenance-wise, they're doing the best job they can. They have rules and regulations they have to follow. And
you're going to be safe, it's there for your safety. Shout out to my friends Vanessa and Kendria. They're both flight attendants. If you're listening.
Shout out. Yeah, we love you. We love you. I always bring chocolate aboard or certain prizes or presents for the flight attendants, especially if I'm flying overseas. because I just think it's it's just nice to have this because they like that. They enjoy that. It's nothing big. They like Starbucks cars or what. But if you're flying like Swiss Air or Lufthansa or something, I don't know why it is. They love Butterfingers. And so if you're flying on one of those, Lufthansa, Swiss Air, or Finnair, or whatever the foreign carrier is, like I bought 2 bags of candy that has Butterfingers in it, and I've been hauling them around all these trips I've been taking. So I just, on my trip home, I can give it to them because I know they love it. So I'm going to give it to them.
But that's another thing. You can buy luggage to put your 10th Mountain Whiskey in. You know that, right?
Yes. I've done that many times. You have to check it, but you can carry it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with further ado, because we want to make sure we get time to get through all of these great scenarios, Chris and Len has posted them up there. I posted them on my social media. I apparently didn't do it very good, but I'm gonna read scenario 1. I'm gonna put my glasses on, and yes, I'm sorry, I bent my glasses working on the Mustang, so I'll get them fixed when I go back. So if I look like I've been drinking, I haven't, not yet. But
Chris says the post goes on every one of our platform things, but either way.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to read it, Lynn? You want to read it?
Yes, you read it.
Okay. So scenario 1, and you can read it there if you want, but I'm gonna go ahead and read it. So
I'll read the next one.
Okay, you do the next. Okay, I'll do the first one. You do the next one. Okay. So this is business class is empty. Sometimes flights it happens, right? And so there's maybe 12 people in business, and it leaves 12 seats open. It's in the middle of the night. You come back from crew rest. So now if you don't know, once they serve the evening meal, they're on international flights. Half the crew goes on crew rest for 2 hours, and then they sleep or do whatever, and then they swap out next crew. So the crew's going on crew rest, so only have half the amount of people there after they serve their first meal. You find a couple, and you don't think they were initially asleep in business class, so you ask them, were you initially sitting here? And they say no, and you tell them they have to go back to the original seats, and they tell you that they are high or platinum members of their airline, and they get upgraded all the time. Although this is not a regular airline, this is not the irregular airline. How do you handle self-upgrading people? So basically, the scenario is somebody went from economy class to business, and now they're not going to move. They're saying they're entitled to these seats, and so how would you handle that situation? And so, Lynn, how would you handle that situation?
Okay, so first of all, I have a story from during COVID.
Okay.
Remember when flights were so cheap? Anyway, I'm a United Mileage Plus member. So I remember I would just like get a regular seat, but then I would wait to the very end to board the plane just to see what seats were left, and I would take an empty seat in the front, and they didn't care. Well, it was only like an hour or 2 hour flight. It wasn't an international flight. Now, in this case, it's an international flight. So I know my flight to Philippines was 14 hours?
Yeah.
It was a long time, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would ask them, hey, you guys weren't originally sitting here. Can you go back to your seats? And then they say, no, we're premium members of a different airline. I'm like, well, this is this airline and not that airline. And just go from there. Like, and if they still say no, I'll just walk away. And then come back and then see if they're there, and then ask them to move for service. I guess service is done already.
Yeah.
So I would ask them to move again, and if they don't, I'll just leave them alone.
Yeah.
Because then, it's not like I don't get paid enough for this.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I would ask a supervisor or a pilot or something to handle it.
Or you could come get me because I would politely walk up to him, and I would be cordial at first, very cordial. And I would say,
that's a start.
Yes, I would say, first of all, do you have tickets to be sitting in these seats? Of course, they would say no. And then the next words out of my mouth, I would be like, well, who the hell do you think you are that you can just come up and arbitrarily take seats from people who isn't where you're supposed to be seating? What part of you and world do you live in that you think you can just arbitrarily do that? So I'm going to politely turn my back, and you're going to get your butt up, and you're going to go back to your assigned seats, or I'm going to go up in the cockpit and get the pilot, and he's going to have a conversation with you, and we'll make sure there's little policemen on the ground waiting to see you when we land at our next destination. So I highly suggest, please get up and go to your assigned seats, or we're going to have a small little problem. That's just kind of how I would handle it.
Then they tussle back, and it's like you have 13 more hours with these people.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, now you have to deal with them in the air.
Oh yeah,
Going over the ocean.
They knew they were wrong to begin with. So, but you do know that it's always nice to be nice to your flight attendant, because once that plane door closes, they call it a purser, and she's in charge of the flight. They can move you up from economy to business. Once they close their flight, they're in charge of that. And if their seat's open and you're nice to them, bring them chocolate, bring them gifts, there's a small chance or a pretty good chance that they'll move, because they'll ask you what seat you're in. Like when I gave chocolate on the Swiss Air flight, they're like, "Oh, what seat?" I'm in 6A or whatever I was in. I was already in first class, but that's fine. But they asked what seat I was in. And then if there's an open seat, more likely they're going to move you up. And so it's always played to be nice. But I think these people are way out of line. If you're not assigned a seat, don't move up in seats. The people that sit in business in first class, they pay a lot of money for those seats.
Yeah, they do. They do. Exactly. So it's like they're stealing, right? They're stealing a service. So what did I'm curious, what did the air flight attendants say they would do in this scenario?
They would ask them to get up and leave the seats, and if they didn't, then they would obviously I guess they would get in trouble. They would, but usually the pilot's in charge, and usually they'll have the pilot or the co-pilot will come back and have a discussion with them. I've seen this, and generally if that happens, then they know they kind of poop hit the fan, and then they'll get up and leave, because then you're looking at actually being in trouble with the police when they get to their destination. But hey, if you're a flight attendant and you're watching the show tonight, throw your comment up out there what you would have done in scenario one. I know it probably wouldn't have been with what I said, but that's what I would do. And we already know that Cliff can be a flight attendant, because I would last 3 minutes. Well, that goes back to the last scenario where the one passenger pushed the flight attendant going through I wouldn't have tolerated that. I would have decked him. That's just how I am. I can't handle it. So let's go on to scenario number 2. Len, why don't you read that one?
Okay.
What that one was.
Let's see. A male passenger and a female passenger try to use the restroom at the same time. Little Mile High Club action. I don't know. Something not allowed for safety reasons. How do you address that? Okay, let me go first.
Okay, you want me to go first?
Since we know you choose violence. Stephen Brown says, I was on a flight and they asked me to move to first class because an ill person needed the extra room of his seat.
Oh,
okay.
Okay, yeah. Sweet. That works. Thumbs up.
Yeah. I mean, I've been upgraded because of my military status or status, so that's always like a perk. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's nice.
Yeah, it is nice. But that's why you bring him a Starbucks card or candy or something.
Right.
So do you want me to answer it? Or you can answer it first.
I'll answer. Okay. I'm getting off subject. All right. So I mean, before I even catch them, or if usually the flight attendants are right by the bathroom, and so I'll watch people going in the bathroom, and then or whoever goes in first, and then they try to go in, I'll just put my arm there like, oh, no, ma'am, or no, sir. This is only one at a time for safety reasons, And obviously, like a flight attendant, they're watching. Why would they even try some sneaky shit anyway?
Well, sometimes the flight attendants are busy, right? They're doing the food service, or they're not in the galley area, or they're doing
Well, if I don't see it, I don't see it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything because I'm not a hater, and I'm not a CB blocker.
Right.
But if I was a flight attendant, I'd be like, no, ma'am, no, sir, like block the other person from trying to come in.
Yeah.
If they were already in there, I'd just knock lightly, like, excuse me, only one at a time in the restroom. Please get out.
Yeah.
That's about it, because that knock alone would probably make them embarrassed.
Well, I'll let everybody in on a little tidbit of information. The flight attendants can unlock that bathroom door.
Yeah, but I don't want to walk in and see some stuff.
No, but I'm just saying. But a lot of people don't realize that they for safety reasons, they can unlock that door. And so don't think that just because you're sneaking in there to unlock it.
I've seen that. I'd see them lock it while we're taking off and landing. And they'll lock it like the top outside. There's a little mechanism there.
So they can unlock that bathroom door.
So what would you do?
Well, I thought about this for a little bit, and I would say, excuse me, what are you doing? And then I would open up the bathroom door and say, what in the heck are both of you going to be doing in this little bathroom together? Really? Do you really think you're both are going to fit in here and be able to do what you think you're going to be doing? I don't think so. I don't think you can do it in a regular bathroom back in the States. So quit being silly, quit being stupid. And when you go in and do your business, whatever that is, take a picture and send it to him later back in the seat. But yeah, one of you need to go in at a time and not two at a time.
I can imagine you.
I would have to make an announcement on the plane.
I feel like you'd be like an old man.
Attention, this is United Flight 457. Just a heads up that the restrooms are only one person only. So for the people seating in the 12A and 12B who tried to come together, just realize that they're only for one person. Or something like that silly.
I wouldn't call out who they were, but I could just imagine you like being that old man saying, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I would make an announcement also after that happened. And be like attention passengers, the restroom is like one person per.
Because even on the big
unless it's a child and they're changing diapers or something.
Yeah.
They have a
I mean that's different.
No.
That's different. But I mean if you're I mean those they're small. I mean if you're on the big A380 or the A330 or the A350, or the 747, their bathrooms are small. They're tiny. So how can you even if you went in there to do a little hanky panky or smashy pashy, there's no room to do it unless she's you both of your toothpicks. I don't see how you could even do it. I don't think it's possible. I mean, I'm sure people find a way. If there's a will, there's a way. Just like Marines always find a way.
Have you ever seen the international flights like first class? So I flew Qatar Airlines first class. Wait, Chris says, why you got to pick on us? I flew Qatar Airlines first class during COVID. Yes. I went to Maldives, and it was nice because obviously the tickets were cheaper, everything was cheaper. But the restroom in first class is actually like a nice restroom. There's like a tub, there's a shower, like there's a lot
certain airlines like Singapore Airlines and things like that. They do have their first class. They do have, and some of them even have the private cabins where they got the bed, their own shower, everything.
So then now at this point, there's a private cabins, and the middle ones had like 2 or 3 together, and you can make it into one big old king bed.
Wow!
In the middle. And I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Yeah, but I had mine was on the edge, like by myself. I was not about to share no bed with a stranger. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, that's a little bit different. I mean, if you have a first class and you have your own secret private area, that's a little bit different. But, of course, I flew first class on Swiss Air coming over here. And, it's funny. It's just like when I get ready to lay down after the dinner service, she was like, oh, well, you ready for your bed service? I'm like, bed service? I'm like, I just need a blanket. And so they've laid my bed out. They put a pad down over it. They made my bed for me. And she's like, okay, sir, would you like
turn down service?
She's like, would you like a pair of pajamas? I'm like, pajamas? I'm like,
oh yeah, they give you pajamas, slippers. They
had I had the slippers.
Bag.
Yeah, I do. I have the bag, but I didn't get the pajamas. But now I kind of beat myself up for it. So if I fly back first class, I'm in business now. If I upgrade to first class, I'll be sure and take.
Grab the pajamas. They're like good keepsakes.
I need to take those pajamas. I'm sure they're nice.
All right.
And she's like, well, wait a second, sir. You do realize that when you lay down to sleep, you can't do like at home and be naked. And I'm like, well, I cannot not be naked.
Yeah. Okay, let's read the third one.
Yeah, the third one was kind of disturbing in a way, but I think sometimes people can be inconsiderate about what's going on or not have any situational awareness of what's going on. And so I want me to read this one. I'll read this one.
Okay.
So, a customer continuously rings the bell for drinks and snacks while the flight attendants are performing CPR on a guy that passed out in the aisle. And this guy's wanting snacks. How would you handle that?
He wants popcorn.
I can't even believe this is a thing.
He's watching the guy like pass out, get CPR. He's about to die. Like, excuse you, sir. Okay, let's go with the violent one. What would you do?
I to be honest with you, because I've obviously, you guys, you know my story, with the boat rescue and things I've been in rescues. I would just ignore him. To be honest with you, I would just, and if he got annoying, I would just tell him to sit down and shut the F up while I'm doing this and leave us alone and then address it afterwards. Because right, when you're doing CPR on somebody and you're in that tight clothes, you're so focused on helping them that they would just be annoyed. Or I would ask another flight attendant who's maybe not, directly helping in that situation to take care of that customer. But I would, I would not be inclined to serve them any drinks or snacks while that was going on.
Yeah, I would just ignore them. Like, if you don't have that situational awareness, like all you're thinking about is your small little bubble, too bad, so sad, sir, ma'am, whoever you are. Like,
Yeah.
you're continuously ringing the bell for drinks and snacks. Maybe you might need to sober up for a bit. Maybe you might need to take a couple of minutes to not eat as much calories. Like,
Or maybe I let somebody take over and I'll just come over to sleep and slap you around a little bit and
nope.
teach you a little civility there. And maybe you
There
realize not to act that way, but maybe
There's-
not. I don't know. Maybe it's stressful.
There's the violence.
There is a balance. There is a balance. But and I've been on flights where there was medical emergency and they had to make an emergency landing. And of course, they're trained. They have special bags on there to do different things, but the flight attendants aren't trained to use it. It's the medical personnel. That's why they always ask, is there a doctor aboard? Is there a nurse aboard?
Mhm.
And so and they pull out those bags based on that for that medical attention. Cause, I get it, but if you are sick or if you had surgery or if you're in that gray area where you don't know if you should travel or not, your health is more important than getting to your destination. And you can wait a couple of days because, sometimes I think people push the limits too much.
Well, I did, when I was pregnant with Sophia, I did travel at like 34, 36 weeks pregnant. So, I kind of pushed that there, but
is that for the safety of the baby or is that so you don't give birth in the air?
Birth in the air more so, because I wasn't high risk or anything.
Yeah.
Traveled often because we were in Hawaii, and then like I said, we had United Mileage Plus members, and then we would travel back to the mainland all the time, San Diego, Texas, and all that. And I had all of my baby showers I had 2 baby showers, one in San Diego and one in Houston. So I traveled. It was probably almost 9 months. I was probably about 8 months.
But that's about what, a 4-hour flight, 5-hour flight from Hawaii to Los Angeles, San Diego. Yeah, so it's
and about 2.5 hours from San Diego to Houston, maybe 3.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know when I was flying to Korea a couple years ago, I was flying out there to do a speaking event, and we took off out of Dallas, and I saw this lady on the plane, and she had it was a little bitty baby. It wasn't, couldn't have been more than a week old or something, and she was on the plane, and then she started bleeding in the bathroom really bad, and we had to make an emergency landing in Alaska, and I tell you, we had a 787 Dreamliner, and that pilot put that plane on the ground quick. And when we got parked, the medical personnel was on the plane immediately, and she was still in the bathroom with the baby. And of course, they got her out, and she bled a lot because it took them a long time to clean that bathroom up. So she's lucky she didn't bleed out and die.
Well, there's a lot of people travel for medical reasons. Like, it's medical traveling is a thing.
Yeah.
So people go to like the Dominican Republic or like to Colombia to get the BBLs and the plastic surgeries, or go to Turkey for the hair transplant and then the teeth work.
Yeah.
So it's this medical destination thing is becoming a big thing. People are going specifically for plastic surgery.
Yeah, I know in Italy that a lot of people will go to Turkey for medical treatments and stuff. And they got a good medical facility there. Yeah, my neighbor downstairs, she had a facelift done, and of course her kids are grown now, and she had all kinds of work done, and she looks amazing now. They did a really amazing work for like half the cost. But I mean, for us, Turkey's right there. I mean, it's like an hour and a half flight. I mean, it's
Oh yeah, that's not far from all.
Yeah,
I've been seeing these. They've been calling it the Guadalajara facelifts in Mexico. They're literally like 70-year-old person going in there, or like really saggy skin person going in there, and they come out looking 25 years old.
Yeah.
Well, no, it looks very natural. Like, have you seen like Kris Jenner or like Christina Aguilera and all?
Oh yeah.
Everybody's like facelift looks pretty natural.
Well, my neighbor had a facelift. She looks amazing. I mean,
how are you looking 25 years old? I'm like, I'm not understanding.
I didn't recognize her. I mean, she was bruised up and stuff, so she stayed, but when the bruising and all that went down, and I was just like, I didn't even recognize her. I mean, it was amazing. Actually, she did a good job. So, hey, listen, if you work in the service industry and you want us to say, what would you do? Shoot us on Facebook. Shoot out to Len. Shoot out to me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. wherever you at, and then maybe we'll do this again. I'm just
It's a
doing.
good series. I like it.
I know, right? I can think about some stuff. Oh, you know what? I got a. How much time we got? I got a story in the military. I'll save this for next time. Don't let me, because this is a good one, and it's a good one. Yeah. So we'll do military.
You guys have to
military.
tune in
This is a good one. I just remembered this one. I got to remember it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a note. Chris will help me remember. But yeah, this is a good one. It happened to me when I was at AIT. There's two different situations when I was at Advanced Individual Training at Fort Eustis as a young enlisted soldier. That was quite interesting. So we'll do military ones next time. But hey, I want to give a shout out to. Now let's see. Am I going first now, Len? Is that right?
No, I'm gonna go first. Okay.
Okay, Len's going first. I keep messing up the ending of the show. So hey, I remembered this time.
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys. If you want to check out a hike, Irreverent Warriors hike, we have some hikes coming up this month. And actually, we have a female retreat coming up in Indiana. We have one in Worcester. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Worcester, Massachusetts. It's going to be this weekend on October 4th. Houston, October 11th. Gulf Coast, Florida Beach Bash. That's going to be in Destin area. They're going to have a little beach bash there. Here in Florida, also October 11th. Crystal Coast, North Carolina. That's over there by the those little islands. Mm-hmm. I forget, the Outer Banks, like around that area. Yeah. They're having their hike October 18th. DC, if you're close to Washington, DC, they're doing their hike October 25. And Phoenix, Arizona, October 25. So don't miss out on those events. If you want more other events that's near your city, check out irreverentwarriors.com. Also, don't forget to check out www.VeteranTrashTalk.com. On there, you can find all of our merch, including that VTT dumpster fire shirt that Cliff has on, and the QR code is right there. Also on VTT.com or VeteranTrashTalk.com, you can find all of our podcasts on there. So, Cliff, go ahead.
Okay. So, hey, with that, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. So, hey, like I said last month, let's all look out for each other. We got October coming with the change of the time of the season. That can be quite stressful for some people. So let's just keep an eye on everybody. We had some great fun today. We had some great laughs. And, it's always fun to look about what other people do and how other people react in certain situations. And I just think that was fun. And so I want to thank everybody out there who gave those questions, who tuned in. And thank you all the listeners out there. But just like when I said at the beginning of the show, you got Wreaths Across America. You can scan that QR code for a little $10, $15. You can ensure that the wreath is placed to memorialize a veteran or a service member that has passed on. And super happy to be part of that program. You can also memorialize your ones if you want. And so that you can scan that QR code, it takes you to the website, and you can find out not only for the wreaths, but you can also find out all the other things they do. They always have fundraisers going on, and it's pretty amazing to be part of that. But along with that, and if you don't know, if you wasn't listening in the beginning, or you were distracted, or maybe you were getting your 10th Mountain Whiskey drink ready for the show, and you missed that I said that Wreaths Across America Radio replays the podcast at Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. And that's super easy to find. You just download the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or the Audacy app, and search for Wreaths Across America Radio for all the great programming. Not only great music they play, for Len's and I great podcast, The Mental Health Warrior, which is the #1. That's why we have the Friday night slot. I'm just saying that. I have no idea. Hey, tune in and listen. Hey, if you just want to listen to a replay of it because you didn't quite hear it, or you want to, sit around with your friends and laugh about it, be sure and tune in. At Fridays, I do post that on my social media when they do the little advertisement. But just like I said, as you were pouring your 10th Mountain Whiskey and Bourbon and you missed the beginning of the show, you can go back and re-listen to it because you caught the middle of it. But hey, you're enjoying some good bourbon. But hey, we shared the website for that. We shared a little QR code. Give them a try. Now listen, I know I talk about it a lot and I say this, but really, if you got a little bit extra money, give them a try, because I'm telling you what, you're going to like it. You're going to enjoy it. And so, we had the video we played early on with Veterans Mortgage, powered by Canopy Mortgage. You scan that QR code. Interest rates are coming down. It's a great way to look at refinancing your house. Maybe you look at buying your first house using that VA loan that you're entitled to. And so please be sure to do that. Of course, you see the dumpster fire QR code, like Len said in the middle, for Veterans Trash Talk. That helps us continue with our mission and what we're doing. And if maybe you're getting ready to leave to Hawaii because somebody got put out because they couldn't pass the PT test and you're taking their position, and you got to go there, so you can click on that PCS to Paradise, scan that QR code, and they will help you find that dream home in Hawaii. And you're going to love it there, and they're going to do an awesome, great job for you. But hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. just remember, like I always said, we are brothers and sisters keepers out there. So, hey, if somebody went quiet or somebody went silent, give them a ring, ask them how they're doing, invite them out for a drink, maybe go to a Reverend Warrior hike. Sorry.
Ooh.
And, let's just take care of each other. Hey, have a great week, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday.